Wow. The one thing I really want to tell you guys about today is that I'm as excited to be in your seat as you are to watch these speakers. It was, my heart is still pounding from that presentation. The MBE is from the establishment, the most excellent member of the British Empire, but that has only been given to me only because I've just recently become a part of the establishment. But I'm the chief exec for Repowering, Energy Garden, and Clean Marine. And these are all projects that I can have a chance to share with you. But instead of telling you about technology, because you've heard it right here, and so many amazing people will speak about that, I'm going to share with you what drives me, and I'm going to bring you with me into what the future is now. So effectively, I want you to live in the present with me. This is who I am, and this is who we are. We can't jump into the future right now. We have to live in the present. 80% of the city's infrastructure of both London and I'm quite sure Barcelona will be here in 50 years. Sadly, we have to deal with what we have. But what do we have, which is the greatest resource? It's the people. But this is a different presentation than I thought it was. But that's good. It's fine. This is fine. I just wanted you to know that what I wanted to start with was my grandmother, because last night I got a text from my father, and it's a picture of my grandmother, because I wanted to stop sort of going into these tech conferences and having these lights shine in my face, and I wanted you to see the real face of what needs to happen in the 21st century, which is that we have a connection with our ancestors, because all the knowledge is right, thank you. All the knowledge is right here. And this is Anne Kenai, who's sort of the grandmother of the Bannister House estate, which is an energy system that we've put on to social housing. And there are many social housing blocks across Barcelona, but in London as well. And we're working across 5 local authorities. So there's 8 million people in London, and there are tons of cars and streets just like Barcelona. But there's also high levels of unemployment and poverty. And the truth of the matter is that you guys are here and you're active citizens that want to get engaged and involved in the future. But there are huge numbers of people that don't have the opportunity to be here today or have gone to university, and they are living in impoverished areas. And they're making up a great deal of the residences of our city. They are the social capital, which is not being tapped into because they have the answers. And this is what my life looks like every day, and I want to share that with you. We might have the leading projects in the world in blockchain energy usage. We're trialing it on the national grids, and we've done the first community energy projects on social housing. We have tidal projects on the Thames. But what does it look like? I'm not going to show you some really beautiful pictures of technology. I'm going to show you some really beautiful pictures of mothers and fathers and grandfathers who hold an incredible amount of knowledge, who are not being allowed through that system. And the answer to Kate's question, which I really wanted to jump up, and the other person that was questioning, what is the future? I really think is right here, and I'm going to drive you through this. Because the knowledge that we need to go through the 21st century, to save the polluting waters, to really address these space issues in urban areas and this energy crisis, is to take away a system right now, a global financial system, which prioritizes finance. So it's fiduciary responsibility is the legal requirement for all companies to pay the highest return in the shortest amount of time. When we talk about shareholders, we're talking about they are legally obliged to push you as an organization to give them the highest amount of return in the shortest amount of time. And what this is behind me is the exact opposite. It's saying reasonable returns of finance, environmental issues, and social ones over a reasonable amount of time. So it's about how do we come together collectively and choose that. So first thing is you go and you ask, what is it that we need in this community? Because I might be a local leader in Brixton, and you might be a local leader in Barcelona, but you are not a local leader on the Marais or in Camden or in Morocco. those people are. So you have to go to that place and ask them. And if I ask a question, so many times I've stepped in with a nice, colorful shirt. This is in representation of the exhibition. You have to be a jellyfish. I don't know if you all remember that. I'm a jellyfish. This moment, I step into the door and I knock on that door. And if I live in Brixton, and many times I do, I knock on that door, and then I open the door to someone who has what? They've got a baby in one hand, they're cooking dinner, and then all of a sudden I say to them, hello, I'd like to put solar panels on your rooftop, and didn't you know about the financial systems? We're gonna make a co-op, and it's gonna be great. And they go, what the fuck is wrong with you? I have and then the phone rings, wait, oh my God, it's the council. They've been trying to get through to them for 5 days because I need to get water, and my electricity bill is not mine, it was the last employee who was here, and they've got a baby under this one, and they're talking, and then all of a sudden another kid runs through, and I'm sitting there going, hi, in my nice shirt. So we have these co-ops, right? If you want to be a one vote, one share member of a co-op, we can all raise all the money we need to put solar panels on the rooftop. And they're like, hold on a second. Yeah, what I wanted to do was, I really have to get this stuff done. What is it? Listen, why don't you come in? And then the little kid runs up. Why don't you come in, sit down, and tell me what it is that you want to do? And if I can, that's some people. Other people just slam the door in your face. Are you part of the council? Because I have been asking you guys to do things for years. The first thing you have to do when you go to that door and knock on it is say, rethink the system. And I don't knock on the door. I work with the young people in the local area and say, when we go to this building, when we go and knock on that door, I want you to know that what it means. So I will work with Habiba Hujo, who lived on an estate, or Khalil Isman, who grew up in this local area. Explain to them, this is finance, this is IT, this is the technology of setting up and owning your own community energy power station. This is growing systems, this is renewables, this is hydroponics. So we do these 40-week paid accredited training programs. They learn how to do that, and then they're the ones who go and ask the questions. And the young people, we run these school programs and training programs, and then when we ask people, what do you want? It's not me asking them, because the way I ask a question is already skewed with my background, with who I am. But if someone who lives on an estate or someone who rides this train every day comes and says, like a train driver says, look, we're thinking about putting 100,000 meters of trackside land into agricultural use. What do you think? They go, fucking, I'm late for the train, right? But if it's the station manager, all right, they see every day, and he goes, hey, John, how you doing? And the person's like, oh, shit, I see you every day. You know, they have a sense of community, a sense of well-being, but this is also somebody who works for the train. And they say, what are you guys working on? I've been noticing that gardening thing going on. Yeah, it's really cool. We've got this permission to garden the whole overground, and we're gonna put solar panels on the top of these stations, and we're gonna start to deliver renewable energy to the trains, and we're gonna be growing green walls. What do you think? And they go, yeah, I love it. What do we need to do? Well, you can invest in it, or you can come on the weekend and garden it. We can now have this whole space. What happens? Not my green ideas, not Incredible Antonio, which I was like pounding. It was amazing, right? It's not Antonio's idea, as great as those are. It's unnamed, beautiful girls. They come up with the idea. They construct it. They say, you know what we need to do? We need to have a party. We need to come up with some dressings. We need competition. Look at him. He's looking at his brother's cabbage going, you know what I want? I want more of these cabbages. And that is the answer. The social power drives people to then go, when we do the installation of the solar panels on these rooftops, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of square meters. I'm generating over 16 megawatts of energy a year now in London. I didn't put it in there. Habiba Hajo puts it on there. She grew up in that building. She was born in that building. Her mother had an abortion in that building. They have real life experiences that traumatize the whole family, and they are still there working, going back to school to learn. When people have a chance to do that, they don't become solar panel cadets, my own little warriors. I have an army of people who are now trained and ready to install solar panels. They have a social imagination on what is available for them. They are given the tools to become who they want to be. We worked with 1,500 school children last year and 65 young people who were trained on accredited training and paid programs to be able to then grow their own vegetables, to be able to then say, I want to have a party. Not my party. I didn't pay for the party. Everybody comes together and says, we're going to do this. We're going to make food. And that gets more people involved. Because what we need to do is not run away from the cities that we've created. We want to create the cities where we are. We need to grow home. The speaker coming up, Ed Gillespie, has helped me really sort of to tangibly take the ideas of who we are and put them into simple phrases, because all of my education of studying math, medicine, architecture is useless in communicating. What we need to do is keep it really simple, allow people to grow their own reality. And I have to translate that into social return and say that so many of the times, what we've done over the last 6 years has been measured not by the financial output, not even by the social output or the environmental output, but all of the needs of that community. And we were only hitting the needs of the community of one of them. The sixth priority was energy. So we decided we have to hit the food, the transport, the housing, the health, then the energy, then it was saving money. So we went, how do we do that? Let's rethink it. Let's build bigger co-ops where people from all different sizes can do that. And we have to translate to the local authorities and to the national government and to the transport people how we can build a business case, not for me, but the sort of grandmothers of that. And to be able to take gray spaces like this, which there's 870 miles of train, and it uses 4% of all of the energy in the UK, is just used by the underground, and turn it from gray spaces into green spaces to living walls. And so that's somewhere where people want to be, where kids can be educated and they can learn about hedgehogs, biodiversity, bat huts, where they can really think about taking home and growing in their own homes. And it's really had a strange effect, because I guess people our age, we've made beer from it, got young people involved, but then also there's been a whole bunch of discrepancies where people found that it's a great place to even have fun extracurricular activities. But it's about making socially smart cities and being a part of a unit where we think about London as a whole, or our cities as a whole, somewhere we want to grow home. And in that way, we have one vote, one share cooperatives. And I want to leave you with this, because I really felt like it was important to say it started with these ancestors of grandmothers being able to find them, and they knew where we wanted to go, and that there's a lot of social knowledge. But this is Lila Fortunato, who has taken over from the first slide on the right hand. There was Anne Kanai, who was sort of this estate mama who helped everybody to understand what it was that we needed to do to address our community. But that was 4 years ago. And now Lila, who had grown up in fuel poverty, who had raised 3 children, who've gone through these internship programs, who are now employed, doing things, having their own kids, is now taken over that mantelpiece. And it was almost to say that the leading cutting edge of energy supply, blockchain energy usage, if you look on our Repowering or Energy Gardens website and everything, it's not that technology. It's people like Lila Fortunato, because they own it in these one vote, one shareholding cooperatives. And I encourage all of you to go away and do that. Thanks.